Like I used to be worried about, what people think and how I sound and stuff like that. But so yeah, that for sure, especially whenever you go so long and um, you're doing this for so long and you got music has changed and your sound changes and all these different things and you feel like, dang it, am I still good at this or
Hello again, and welcome to Authentic on Air with Bruce Alexander. I am your host, Bruce Alexander. Today is a special day because Emmy Award-winning artist, activist, and entrepreneur Jabee is joining me in the studio. I have so many questions for this man after today's reflection. If you had the talent, drive, and connections to write a song about yourself that would be heard by millions of people, would you be honest? Would you use the platform to share a true account of your story, or embellish a little, or even try to imitate someone else's story in hope of being accepted? Complimented by strangers who know nothing of your truth. What does your answer say about your level of self acceptance? Think about it and hop on Instagram, Threads, LinkedIn, or Facebook and join the discussion on the episode 15 reflection post. Or make your own post and tag at Authentic Identity Management and use the hashtag Authentic Reflections because I really want to hear from you. I wanted to reflect on combining honesty, creativity, and mass communication because my guest today has done just that. He has taken his talent and used it to pour himself onto the page, put it to music, and release it for millions to hear. I got to personally observe the development of this process because JB and I were facing socioeconomic struggle at the same time. Vaguely, somewhere in the early 90s, I would spy around corners and from the stairs of breezeways in South OKC as my brother and JB would draw comic book characters and exist unconcerned with the trials we faced as Black children with uncertain futures. In the then titled Los Pueblos Apartments, I remember JB's energy being so much more sure of himself than I would ever feel even 20 years to come. My father's career at the fire department progressed, and with that came money, eventually some security, but then financing a divorce and a move with my mother and brother to a completely white suburb just outside of Catoosa, Oklahoma. I wouldn't see JB again until I moved back to OKC to live with my dad and commute to the University of Oklahoma over 10 years later. He had run into my brother a few times in the local b-boy scene as he was pushing early CDs and my brother was chasing breakdancing glory. It was still just little brother in my mind, but he remembered me and was completely genuine and kind. I was in yet another phase of pretending to be likable, which likely read as fake and desperate, but I remember thinking, I hope he makes it. 2 successful restaurants, 8 albums, an Emmy, a Run the Jewels tour, and multiple other civic and musical accolades later, he sits across from me in my Authentic on Air studio. Welcome to the show, JB.
Word, thank you. That's a hell of an introduction. That's dope, man. You got a good memory.
Not always. My wife will tell you that I can't remember anything in order ever. So I know what happened, but when it happened,
Yeah.
not so good. I'm gonna ask a couple of my stock questions to start out the interview, but it'll be a little different than I usually do because you are involved with 2 of my very favorite things: music and activism. Like my activism tends to be what I call armchair activism, Facebook, social media, that stuff. But what you're doing is extremely close to my heart. The things that you stand for mean a lot to me. So I've got a lot of questions to, kind of get into the mind of an activist.
No doubt.
So first, can you tell the audience who may not know who you are in your own words, who you are, what you do, and how you spend most of your time?
Okay. Well, my name is JB, and I'm just, from Oklahoma City. Um, I do a few things. You ran down a bunch of them, but I think the to sum it all up is just, trying to be an a a part of my community in whatever ways I can, and give back whatever ways I can, and just in the middle of that, sometimes you have to fight injustice. Sometimes you get to have fun. Sometimes do other stuff. So, but yeah, it's just participating in my community and using my time responsibly and just trying to make an impact and following the lead of some of the others that came behind before me.
Excellent. Big question. If you were to wake up tomorrow and not want to rap anymore, not want to make any more music, and every problem that you had with society today was solved, what would you do with your life?
Ooh, sleep.
Okay. All right.
Nah, I would probably, just spend more time with my kids and chill. Grab me you know, a cool cigar and a bottle of Jameson and just kick back. You know what I mean? And do things I used to do, like draw. Paint. Um, stuff like that.
So, one of the like stock questions I try to ask everybody is, how do you, in your own words, define authenticity?
Um, you know, I guess for me, it's just first of all, having knowledge of self, meaning you know who you are, you know why you're here, um, your value, and knowledge of self and understanding your purpose and and then living that out the best way you can. Sometimes it doesn't always turn out right. It's not always pretty. You might mess up. You might not always do the best you wish you could, but as long as um, as long as you try hard and never give up, that's all that matters. Um, I've been able to do a lot of things, and I don't always feel like they turn out the way I'd like them to, but I do them to the best of my ability, and I try really hard, and that's as authentic as I can be, and not be afraid of the ugly parts. Sometimes we like to just celebrate the good parts, but I think that people can learn from the bad and the ugly parts too. So yeah.
I totally agree with that. Um, So, in an article speaking of the song Allegiance, you're quoted as saying, "This song is pretty much just me saying, listen, man, I define myself. People might have an interpretation of me based on one thing or what they saw or what they heard, but I don't have no allegiance to none of that. I get to be who I want to be. I get to say what I want to say. You can't put me in a box because I rap. You can't put me in a box because I'm black. You can't put me in a box because I'm from the East Side." Is that an accurate quote?
Yeah.
And where did you get the confidence to lean into all of that?
Um, just some of it is um, probably just like I said, knowledge of self. But my mom was always there encouraging me, and you know, and um, and just knowing, man, like we live in a world where um, people like to pretend they're perfect. People like to pretend and look a certain way, or you know, um, and all of that. And so I just learned along the way that you know, um, especially with everything I do, I learned along the way that some people only know certain parts, and because of those certain parts, they feel like that's you, and or somebody might feel like they knew me when I was 15, and that's me, or they might knew me last year, and that's me, and none of that is true. You know what I'm saying? I get to decide, um, and so I just try to like you know just live in a place with my or like in myself and in my own mind, knowing that when at the end of the day it's gonna all be on me, and when I'm gone, um, all that's gonna be left behind is what I did. You know what I'm saying? And how the things I said and did affected people, and and so I gotta really be confident and be bold in the fact that you know um, right or wrong, I'm out here trying. You know what I'm saying, for real, and people gonna say what they want, but um, the legacy left behind will will you know be a bigger footprint than what anybody got to say. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
I mean, I feel like you're a little. I mean, I guess it's lucky and it's unlucky because everything that you believed in has been put on tape for for your legacy to be heard for in perpetuity.
yeah,
Like until this year and me starting this, like I've believed so many things. I'm kind of glad that they're not recorded
yeah.
because
You
I've been an
know
idiot in the past.
what's crazy is like I think about that sometimes. It's like I'm blessed that like for instance because of music, whether it's a release or a show or something, like I can always create something for me to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? And I just know like there are people who don't really have that. You know what I'm saying? Just living day by day. And they get excited. They get excited about things other people are doing. You know what I'm saying? I get to be excited and put energy into what I'm doing. And so and part of that is being able to leave stuff behind, and um, and I think about my kids and my family and stuff like that, and they'll always have my voice when I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? It won't be lost. They ain't got to remember. Um, what it sound like. They can pick it up. I my you know my grandma just passed, and like um I got to sit and talk with her a week before that. And we sat and talked for an hour or so, and just really chopped it up, and went through memories. I told her about stuff of that I remembered about her, and she told me about things that she remembered about me that I was too young to remember. But you know, um, I have her voice in my mind. You know what I mean? And I pray like as the years go on, like I'll remember what her voice sounds like. But you know, um, because I get to do music and because I've done so much, you can always well, no matter if I'm going today, you'll have I'm saying stuff that my voice and that'll still be there. So
Yeah, I'd never considered that. I've only been doing this podcast for 3 months or so, and um, I'd never considered the impact of if I were to be gone today. There's 20 hours of me talking to other people that my kids can tune in and listen to if they, were ever miss my voice or whatever. And that's a powerful thing.
yeah, it's important, man.
Yeah.
And they might not understand it now, but you know they will. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's important.
Man. So you'll notice a little bit of a pattern as I'm like going through this that I'm reading your own words back to you because you're pretty nifty with the phrases. Like you're pretty you're pretty good at it. So
I appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely. And I really dug into your catalog as I was preparing for this because I'd heard some of your music before and like I'm very sporadic with my listening patterns. Like I go back and forth and I'm all over the map as to what I like. But really getting into your music, I was extremely impressed with the lyricism for one. Like that was really great, and then your actual taste in like production
Mhm.
was really appealing to me. So, and I was reading about some of your albums. So, in my opinion, with "Am I Good Enough" and "Black Future," you dropped two of the most cutting edge albums in structure and substance of our generation. Like I'd say they're right up there with Outkast, Speaker Box, and Love Below.
Man, that's what's. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and like okay, that's one of my favorite albums of all time,
Yeah.
mostly because of the dichotomy that exists
Mhm.
in two really different albums that are under the same umbrella and also work together.
Yeah.
And so, really, with "Am I Good Enough," I was like, how is he going to have four different producers like take sex? Like I'd never heard of that. Like, where do you get these unique ideas? Like, where do they come from?
Part of it is just I think always trying to reinvent or outdo the last thing, and then also me being at this level, I feel like it's important that I try to do things that will people will notice, you know what I mean, and something different, and so that's what that was. Is I anytime I'm doing something, I try to, especially with music, I try to always put the art first. When I first started, I'd be like, I'm just trying to out rap people, or I'm trying to be the best rapper, or I'm thinking about this line is somebody gonna think it's hard or not, but now I feel like with there being so much music and people being so bombarded with it, and it's so easy. It's so easy to be overlooked because there's like you know the internet, and like there's always a new rapper, and there's always something. You know what I mean? It's like I just always need to be always need to try to be more creative um, and try and create a piece of art as opposed to just dropping music. You know what I mean? And stretching myself too, and trying new things. It's more than just trying to be the best rapper and you know outdo people. I want to operate at a level that people that are really in the industry are operating at. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
yeah.
So
So Black Future to me was a moving experience. Like listening to that, intentionally from beginning to end. I was like, I literally the first time I heard the Black Future poem by, let me make sure I say her name right. Uh,
nausea.
yeah, Naja. Like I literally, well, I was in tears
Yeah.
because to me, everything that she was, that future that she was uh, predicting was everything that I want for my kids,
Yeah.
and it's everything that I never had.
Yeah.
So, it really did move me. And what brought that poem to your heart, and then what inspired you to base an entire album off of it?
So with Black Future, I always when I before I did it, I knew I wanted to I wanted Black to be in the title, and she and I started talking about doing the project together, and because whenever I would do shows, I would have her come up and open the show with a poem. Like she would be like, "You got something ready? Because you gonna, you know what I'm saying? It'd be
Hmm.
spontaneous like that." And she would come up and kick something really, really dope, And after so many times of doing that, I was like, "Listen, this next album, I want you to be a part of, like in the studio, like working with me and going through ideas and stuff." And so we had sat down a couple times and thought through different things, and so um, um, it was 2015, and it was February. I was supposed but we didn't have a title yet, and I was supposed to do a Black History show, or it's Black History Month. They're doing like an all Black show at this event, and before I was in New York um, for something, and I went to this Black History event at a museum out there, and they did this dope production where they went through like the history of Black music, and like I mean they started with like Negro spirituals, went into like soul, like James Brown to Public Enemy. You know what I'm saying? It
Hmm.
was so dope, and I remember calling the band and being like, "Yo, I just saw something sick. Let's try and work this in." So we working all this in like over the phone. And I called Naja and told her about it. She said, "Okay, dope. I'm trying to write something around that. Around the idea of starting at the beginning and then going to now and into the future. You know what I'm saying?"
Yeah.
And so we got back. When I got back to Oklahoma, um, I think I got back that same night of the show. It might have been day before. No, it was the same night. And my friend picked me up. I was gonna run to the mall, pick up something, go get a haircut, and go to the show. And so, um, long story short, I got arrested in the mall.
Yeah, I read about this.
Yeah, and on some I had a hoodie on. I had my hood on my head because I wanted to get a haircut. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And so I didn't want nobody to see my hair. I was looking crazy. And so, anyways, they came up to me, told me, you gotta take your hood off. just and this is 2015, so you know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, nah. They're like, well, we don't allow hoodies in this mall. And I'm like, what? Anyways, I'm sitting here arguing with these security officers about staying in the mall. I'm thinking, man, why am I arguing to stay in the mall? So I start leaving. They following me. I get to the door. It's a cop there, and he arrested me. I go to jail, and I'm thinking it was probably like 4 or 5 at this time. At this point, I'm thinking I'll be in and out. Time to get to the show. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't. I stayed overnight and missed the show. And the homies was thinking I just ditched them, abandoned them. I didn't show up. I was a no show and whatnot. But I didn't tell nobody I went to jail. I didn't get on Facebook. I didn't say nothing. Even though it was wrong, and I shouldn't have went. I didn't. Because once you go through something like that, like it takes a lot out of you. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to. It's hard to like. I don't want to have to deal with court. None of that. You know what I'm saying? And so um, I didn't see Naja. I think I might have texted her and told her I was sorry. I went to jail, whatever. But I had a show in Tulsa probably like a month later, and she was at that show in Norman. And she was like, "Where was you at? You good?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm telling her about the whole situation and why I was in jail. And I was like, "How did it go?" She was like, "It was cool." She said, "I did this new poem," and I was like, "Wait, what was it called?" And she was like, "Black Future." And I was like, "That's the album, yo. Let's get busy." And so that's how it came about.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that mall thing. Like reading about that, it blew my mind that you know this wasn't like 1990. This was 2015. This was
Hmm.
not that long ago. For you to be in a public place wearing a hood is just not anything. There's literally nothing there. Um, I gotta stay focused because I get kind of pissed off thinking about it.
Yeah, no doubt.
For you to, for one, not have made a big stink about it, I know that took a lot of patience and self restraint on your own, but also like reading, like researching you, Chuck D said your music has the potential to change the world. Um, so you have a lot on your plate, anyways. Then you have the expectations of society that if you're wearing a hood, now you're dangerous, or like you've got all these different expectations being put on you by other people. In that moment, did did you question yourself?
Nah, because I knew I didn't do anything wrong. Um, and what's crazy is like, I used to work at that mall, for a long time.
We both worked at the same time. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
yeah, um, and I remember, whenever he was cuffing me, thinking that he's not really about to take me to jail. I remember thinking that. And so I remember when I worked there, if people got caught shoplifting, they would take them where the office was. They would take them to. And so I just remember asking dude, like, could we walk around so I don't got to walk through the mall like this with handcuffs on? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And I remember him being like, nah, y'all like this kind of thing. This is what y'all like. I remember thinking, man, like, you know, fam, like, you don't know me, and like he's telling me what kind of person he is by saying that. And
Yeah,
then I remember also there was a lady pushing a stroller who had a hoodie on, a white lady. And I remember saying to him, like, look, you take him, you arrest me for wearing a hoodie, and she got a hoodie on too. He said to me, when you go fishing, do you catch every fish? And I just stopped talking, man. After that, I just quit talking to him, and did the whole thing. I remember getting in the car they had a different officer pick me up. I remember getting in the car and I was like, "What's the charge? Like, what did he charge me with? Because you can't arrest me for wearing a hoodie." And he was
yeah,
like, "Well, they charging you with trespassing." And I was like, "All right," you know what I'm saying? But you know, um, I just I looked at it like this is I knew what it was, and I looked at it like this is something that we deal with as Black people. You know what I'm saying? I didn't look at it like it was nothing I did wrong. But I just knew I've always known, you know, being Black comes with this kind of stuff. Being Black, there are things that we are at risk of. Um, you know, anytime we're in public, I know that being Black, our bodies are at risk of being harmed. So it that's like I just felt like it was my time. You know what I'm saying? And so um, I just took it on the chin. You know what I mean? And uh, when I got in there, it was other people they was bringing in. You know what I'm saying? They for wearing hoodies. But also, I remember whenever they was doing my paperwork, and he asked my birthday, and I told him. He was like, "Oh, I thought you was a kid," and I was like, then I also, what I'm saying, it dawned on me like they in here looking for black kids. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Um, and so, I just, you know, um, I just understand that being black is um, you have a target that is placed on you that you can't get rid of. And that's just like if I'm in the line at Target and there's a white lady in front of me. I know I'm a black man, and regardless of who she is or where she at, where she came from, I know that my presence can make people feel uncomfortable just because I'm black.
Yeah.
Because you know we're conditioned that people have been conditioned to feel a certain way about black people. So I always make sure I'm a few feet back. You know what I'm saying? If I'm somewhere and just like say like if you at a bar, and you sitting there with your girl and you having a conversation with your girl, and um, somebody say, "Oh, he's being aggressive with her." You just having a conversation, but if it was somebody white, that shit they just talking. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I just know that that's a thing. So I know that's what comes with it. And so at that moment, I didn't feel like, what did I do, or feel like I was in the wrong. I just knew, it was my time. You know what I'm saying?
So the sign off I use for the show is be yourself and love yourself. Right.
Mhm.
I've had experiences similar to that one, and for me, it has made it hard to love myself. It has made, because I have that same stigma branded into me that there's something wrong with me because I'm black. And that's something a narrative I've had to take hold of and say it's not true. That's what society puts on you. But it's been a challenge
Yeah.
that I've had to actively deal with. Was that something that you struggled with before that, and did that make it any worse?
Not before that. As a kid, there were times where I didn't understand stuff. Like for instance, whenever I was second, third, and fourth grade, I went to it's like an all white school. Elementary school, majority white. It's probably like three or four kids, two kids in my two black kids in my class.
Hmm.
Me, I take that back. Three. Me, Gavon, and Janika, the only black kids in the class. And my sister's class, she was the only black girl in the class with no other black kids. And I remember, you make friends with these kids, and like as you a kid, you wanna they have sleepovers and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
remember, they would have sleepovers, and you know, everybody get invited but me. You know what I'm saying? Or I remember one time, you know, kids would go home and ask their parents, and their parents were like, nah, you know. And then I'd be like, well, just ask me, you can stay at my house then.
Hmm.
And I go home and ask my mom. Mom be like, yeah, they can come stay and stay the night, but they're not gonna be able to. And I'm like, why? And then sure enough, they be like, Mama said I can't stay. Then they get on the bus the next morning. They don't have to sleep over without me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And my mom had to tell me, you black. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember, one of my good friends when I was in elementary at that same school, we was tight, real tight. Like I said, he's my best friend. And as soon as he got mad at me, or we got into it, the first time he called me the N word, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Um, and, you know, uh, I was probably like 8, 7 or 8. And my mom explaining to me that that's what he hears at home. That's what his parents are saying about you at his house. You know what I'm saying? And so like at that time, I thought something was wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? But as I got older and like I said, you get knowledge yourself, and you understand your worth, um, not, you know, I guess, there's a difference, like I try to be really careful when I say, being proud of being black because I know what, um, the word says about having too much pride, you know what I'm saying? And, um, you know, but I think that you need to have, um, some understanding of your value, of your worth, and be proud of it, but not prideful. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And so, because black people in this country have done a lot, and for the most part, I believe we have been the moral compass of this country. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Um, meaning, you know, we we're the first to accept people. We're the first to forgive people. I mean, you look at what we've been through or what we've gone through, and because like think about the civil rights movement, or think about slavery and things like that. Yeah, there were revolts and stuff like that, but because we've always been that moral compass. You know, we've never been the group of people um, that have we've found ways to come together and try to move forward in peace, as opposed to being a group of people who are nothing but destructive and um, and what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
that's not who we are. And so when you understand those kind of things, then it makes loving yourself a little bit more easy, or at least loving that part of you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so that's for me, that's just been what's held me down, is because I know you know um, that's a lot of that stuff is just built into the DNA of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Meaning it was passed down and taught, and they've been conditioned to feel and think and treat people a certain way based on you know how they look, who they are, or what race they are. But like for instance, when I got called the N word, and I went back to my mom and told her, or when I didn't get invited to sleepovers, my mom didn't tell me to go to school and what I'm saying, and turn up on them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
She explained to me that this is how people are, and we can't be like that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And so that's what I mean by the moral compass. And she was taught that by her people. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
so, but you see what they was taught. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know what I'm saying? So when you understand those things about who you are, and where you come from, and how your people are, then it's easy to it makes it a lot easier to love that part of you. And yeah, when you see, like, you look at just our culture, it's pop culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, people love it. You know what I'm saying? And that's because of who we are. That's because of what we've been able to overcome as a group of people. So
To change gears a little bit, like I would say, as an artist, you share a part of yourself every time you create something new. And music being such a collaborative effort, and combined with your love for sound exploration and the multitude of different producers and artists you work with, do you ever struggle to keep your own creative identity intact?
um, sometimes, yeah, yeah, because like I said, like I was saying before, like I used to be worried about what people think, and um, how I sound and stuff like that. But so yeah, that for sure, especially whenever you go so long, and you're doing this for so long, and you got music has changed, and your sound changes, and all these different things, and you feel like, dang it, am I still good at this, or do people want to hear me? So should I change it up? and switch and do what they're doing because that's what people like, and that's because it, it bugs me out all the time whenever people might say, like I don't know, like let's just say, like let's say, okay, for all intents and purposes, we'll say like J Cole, right? There's this idea that J Cole is like, or Kendrick is like a positive, conscious type rapper, and he does, you know what I'm saying? And the same person is say, yeah, like I really like stuff like this, like J. Cole. I like people who rap about these types of things. You get in the car with them and they listen to some BS. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, I thought you, or you could be like, you like J. Cole, well, better check out this person or that person, and they're like, nah. You know what I'm saying? It's like they don't like. It's not that they like it; they like the idea of it. You know what I'm saying? And um, so when those things throw me off. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times it make me feel like, make me question, my art, and make me question, um, what how I should, go about the next thing. But then I remember, like you said, I remember integrity. I remember, like, regardless, like, I can only be who I am, and I can only tell the type of stories and talk about the things that are important to me because I wouldn't be authentic if I did something else. So yeah, I have those times, and and I just try to always dial it back and try to remember why I do this and why I started it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that actually leads me to my next question, which you worked with two of my favorite artists in the entire world. You worked with LP and Killer Mike both separately, and then you toured with them together on the 2015 Run the Jewels tour. Um, that gave you a front row seat to the kind of success that they have, and they are also, they talk about a lot of things about equity and consciousness and stuff like that. But they've also been pretty open with saying that they dilute that message with, like, a lot of flashy distractions, so they aren't really seen as too much of a threat. Do you Did that ever, like, seem like how successful they are? I mean, I'm sure that having packed stadiums is not something that is a turn off to you. Did that ever think maybe maybe I should dilute my message a little bit and make it a little bit more you know just pleasing to hear to a wider amount of people to maybe get this kind of success?
I mean, I don't. That's the thing. Like, um, I don't. I think there's a. What I don't see. I don't think that. You have to dilute your message. You know what I'm saying? I don't think. I think that. You know, they. Like I think with them, the world just finally caught up. You know what I'm saying? And you think about, you look at how long they've both been doing it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's taken a long time to get to that level. So I think that's possible for everybody, especially if you stay true to who you are. Now, I will say, like, for them, like, some of the things have changed. You could tell, they got more ends now. You know what I'm saying? But um, they're still, you know what I'm saying? I feel like they're still the same. Um, and outside of, like, everything else, like, they're like just legit, genuine people, and I think that's a big part of it too. I always tell, like, the little homies, who do music and stuff, that I say, man, part of it is just being a good person, and treating people right, and being genuine. You know what I'm saying? You can get around somebody, and you realize, I don't even want to be around. I don't care how cool their music sound. I don't want to be around them. And then you don't want to be around them. And you don't want to listen to their music no more either. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so I think a lot of it is some of that too. Um, I don't know if I think there have been times where, like, I have um, tried to, like, be a little bit more simple, and more catchy. But but not a lot. You know what I'm saying? Um, and just glimpses, and then at the same time, like, you know, doing it the way I do it, way so it still sounds like me.
Yeah. So I think I couldn't find the quote again, but I thought I read that you didn't really cuss in your music,
Yeah.
and but you worked with a lot of people who do have explicit lyrics. What like what is your relationship with that? Does that ever make you feel like you're sacrificing something to work with this artist that you like respect or admire, or is it like a strategic decision? How does that go?
Nah, because you'll find some cussing in my music, and I think for the most part, I rap the way I talk. So I don't like you know I don't really cuss that much when I talk, anyways.
Mhm.
But so that's the reason why the music is like that. But then, with working with people, I like I don't search for music for rappers who don't cuss. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I just like what I like, and so I never I'll have homies who will get on songs with me. And they'll be and they'll rap about how they on a song with me, so they can't cuss. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I'll be like, nah, bro, like do you? You know what I'm saying? Like do
Yeah.
you? So um, but I think that at the same time, you you have to um, you have to realize, man, this is you are communicating with words, meaning there's so many words that you can use. You know what I'm saying? So many words that you can use, and if you can't find the words to use, um, then you know what I'm saying, like then you probably shouldn't be doing this. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Um, you know, uh, but if that's how you talk, then that's how you know what I'm saying. That might be how you
Right.
rap too. Um, but with me, I just feel like, man, like if I'm getting to a point to where I feel like you know I'm I can't find the words, I'm being redundant, and I might step back. I might, pick up a book, you know what I'm saying, or something like that, just so I could start exercising my mind, because I feel like, you know, that's part of the craft. That's part of the art of it um, is using and having a vocabulary. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um,
So
so
is it just about respecting the collaborative effort and just saying that we're creating a piece of art together? I'm gonna have integrity about the way I do things, and you do the way you do things, and what we create together, we're both gonna respect that.
yeah, because if I ask you to be on something with me or we're collabing, like I want you because of the way because I like what you do.
Right.
I don't want you to try to change it and try to fit what I do.
Yeah.
And vice versa. You know what I mean? Like it's just like if somebody people it usually happens like people here, rappers here. You know, they might just hit me up if they got a song that they got a Black Power song, or they got like a soul song or a conscious song. And I'm like, man, we rappers, you know what I'm saying? Like I can rap on anything, I'm gonna do me on it,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? But but if we're artists and we're musicians, you know, it shouldn't be like, well, you can only do it this way, you can only do it that way,
Right.
and I wouldn't want to bring somebody in because it's just like take it like this, like you know, we do I have a nonprofit called With Love, OKC. It's an art uh based project, and then I'm also on the Oklahoma Mural Syndicate board, and we do all the murals in the city and stuff like that, and East Side murals, and so whenever you hire an artist to paint something, you might say, hey, we're thinking of like for instance, we're doing a mural of Captain Pitts at Pitts Park, right? Now we could say we're doing a mural of Captain Pitts, but if we say to that artist, we want a mural of Captain Pitts. It needs to be these colors. It needs to have this. We want you to paint it like this. It needs to be A, B, and you know what I'm saying. We're
Right.
just you know what I mean. Like we're not allowing them to to have their artistic integrity or to like express themselves.
Hmm.
We can give them all the history on Captain Pitts. We can give them a picture of what he looks like. We can, you know what I'm saying, like do all these things, but to like tell an artist like, nah, it has to be like this, A B, then you're not letting that person be an artist.
Yeah.
And so the same is true with rapping. I don't ever want to, you know, collaborate with someone and then be like, listen, outside of this is the song and this is the topic, you know what I mean? Say like, you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't say this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not letting them be who they need to be.
Yeah, I definitely feel that, and I respect that. It's just it seems like it would be a hard thing to do whenever you're having somebody. You've had some really huge artists collab with you to I don't know, to not want to be what they want you to be.
Yeah.
I guess I've never worked with somebody that I have such like huge respect for in that in that way. Like I've got worked with lots of people I respect and that I have a lot of respect for, but having somebody who's like received like critical acclaim or massive amounts of success in this way or that, it would be really hard to then say, all right, yeah, I know that you do your thing, but I'm going to do it this way, and then have any feedback and not be like, okay, I'll do it your way.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe that says something about my strength of character, but
yeah, I mean, that's part of it too. But it's just like writing raps for people. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be like if I asked you to be on the song, you're like, okay, bet, and then I say I'm writing the rap for you though. You know what I'm saying? It's like nah, like I'm actually be on the song because I want you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is that something that somebody's tried to do for you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I mean, I didn't really understand how writing rap works. Like I thought that everybody wrote their own stuff until like the stuff about Drake came out, and there was stuff about Lil Wayne at one point too. And two people that I like pop rap. Like I'm not gonna say that I don't like it.
I think there's a difference, and I've never been in the studio with them, but I think that sometimes you had like Dr. Dre, right? You might have like a Dr. Dre or a Diddy who is like they're not rappers, right? But they rap, meaning a rapper will write a rap as Dre, record it, Dre will learn it, and then just say the same thing.
Dre?
Yeah.
Really?
He never rap in his life. He don't write raps. Like even when he was at NWA, Ice Cube wrote all his raps. He wrote all Easy E's too. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not rappers.
I knew that about Easy because he was out there like in the streets, like really doing street stuff.
So that's like when somebody says they didn't write their raps, I'm thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody literally wrote the whole thing as that person, and then hand them the sheet and then they rap it. You know what I'm saying? Wow. But I think that there's something different if like I'm in the studio recording and you in there with me and somebody else is in there and I do the whole song, I write and rap the whole song, we play it back and then you go, man, you should try saying this. I'm like, man, that is hard. Okay, I'm gonna add this line there instead. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's not writing a rap for me.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
So I think, I just think, sometimes, when people are that big and that good, like Drake and like Wayne, like that's just gonna come. You know what I'm saying? And I just can't see because it's if I like I don't know. I just hope it was something like that, and not like But I don't see somebody writing a whole rap for somebody like that.
I mean,
for like a Drake or a Wayne.
With Drake, knowing where he came from on my wife watched it, the Canadian like soap opera show. It was like I could see like him. He's an actor first, so I could see that. But Lil Wayne, like I would be heartbroken, honestly.
Yeah.
That came out because like his style is so original and he's so he's so good with the hooks and the.
And we've been watching him do it since he was 15.
Yeah.
Like why would he just stop? You know what I'm saying? And but like I said, you gotta be careful who you're in the room with because you could be in the room with somebody and y'all just you finish the whole song and then they like, man, and you like, oh man, you should try this line. Okay, bet. And you throw that line in there and the next day once y'all get into it, that person's saying, I wrote that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's what happened with Game and 50. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Do you feel like being a fan of rap, hearing, that firsthand account of, a rapper saying like, this is what it's actually like. Do you feel like, as a fan of rap as well, you have a front row seat to some of like the backstage controversy and stuff like that?
No, not always. I've seen some of it, but I think just because rap is important to me. I'm always like checking for it. I'm always, trying to be in the mix and see what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But, but yeah, and I mean, like, but man, with the internet, we all got a front row seat now. You know what I
that's a good
mean?
point. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I forgot to ask you how much time you had today.
um, yeah, I got a little more time.
Okay. So, when you collaborated with the marketing agency Funnel Design Group to create the What If commercial for the Science Museum, Oklahoma, what did that process look like? And did you ever have to fight to realize your vision, or did you ever have to like give away anything of yourself to get it made?
Nah, like with that, that was a collaboration. Like we went back and forth on ideas, and I had a lot of input, on it. Um, and I think if it didn't fit me, I wouldn't have did it. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? I've had opportunities to do certain things and be a part of different projects, and other commercials and even some movies and stuff. And I was just, I was like, man, if it made me look wild, or if I got to change, or it just doesn't fit, who I am and who I want to be. I just won't do it.
yeah,
With that, I felt like it was important, because of you know, what it was education for one. Um, Two, that science museum. I used to work there as a kid.
oh really?
Yeah, and then three, like I knew the people I was working with would make it dope. You know, and they did. And so I'm just happy that I got to be a part of it, and then I got to make science and and all these things sound dope, and write about all these things um, that people don't really be thinking about. You know what I'm saying? It really, actually, what it did, it made me start thinking about making like a project like that where it's aimed at like education and I haven't done it, but I remember thinking, man, I should do something like this, like just make a whole project like that
Yeah.
because those things are important, and I have kids, and what I'm saying, and education is important to me,
Yeah.
and my children. So
This is random. I recently heard about a guy named Harry Mack. Have you heard of him before?
it sounds familiar.
He's on Instagram and TikTok. He like does Omegle, and just like random people come up and he says, "Hey, let me freestyle for you,"
Mhm.
and they give him like 3 or 4 words, and he freestyle raps like the most intricate raps I've ever heard. That's like just legit, flat out. But then also for freestyle, it's insane. Um, do you have a different place in your heart for freestyle rap, or is that to you just this? Is it all just rap?
Um, it's all just rap. Usually I'll do a freestyle like during my set when I'm performing.
Mhm.
Um, Mainly because like it gets the crowd involved, and I can do what he does, and somebody give me some words, and pick some out your pocket and hold it up so I can see it and freestyle about it. I like that aspect of it. Or if I'm in a battle with somebody, I like to freestyle that way. But it's all just rap. I think that and it's not a. I think that the art of it is it's not lost, but it's not as utilized. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like when like years ago, like something like that was normal. You know what I'm saying? It was just
yeah.
part of the hip hop scene, at a b boy jam or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like people just freestyle all the whole time, but and it wasn't like you know what I mean. So
Mm,
but now, you know, you go to an average rap show, and people gonna do 15, 20 minutes of their songs, and they're gonna be off, and they're not even then and they rapping over the song, so it's like there's no like real like um live performance to it. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? You're not getting, you're hearing what you hear in the car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they're just playing the track and rapping over it. but but I think when you freestyle, you get to like it's like it adds what I'm saying a little more value to people when they could do that.
Hmm.
And you're able to do more. Like, I'll go to a school, a middle school, elementary school, and I'll, freestyle with the kids and use their names and stuff
Hmm.
like that. You know what I mean? And have
Yeah.
fun that way. So, it's just fun, and it helps you flex your muscle as far as like, like I said, vocabulary and rhyming and stuff like that.
Man, you said something. Somebody asked you. No, this is one of your songs. You said they asked me how I became an activist. Somebody asked a question. I answered it.
Mhm.
Is that really what happened?
Yeah, like yeah, that's what happened. Um, it's because I never really considered myself an activist. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, you know, even now, I like to. I feel like I'm more of a community organizer. More than an activist because I like you know the organizing is what gets the job done. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? The organizers aren't the ones usually on TV talking. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so just you know, I feel like it was um, what when the kid got killed by the name one of the kids got killed by the police, right?
Uh, Tra-
And um,
Trayvon, no, Trayvon wasn't the police.
it was after Michael Brown. It was
Okay.
Michael Brown. So um, yeah, I did. There was something to the interview, and they asked me my opinion on it. You know what I'm saying? I said what I said. I don't remember what it was, but you know, I said what I said, and the story came out. Rapper slash activist. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I'm thinking, dang, I didn't even tell them I was an activist. Like, but they got that based on my response to the question. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And um, so then especially like 2020 and the Julius Jones stuff. A lot of people are going, man, I want to be a part and help. How can I be an activist like you? And it's like, I don't know because I never knew I was one until somebody asked me a question about a situation,
Right.
and based on my answer, I'm an activist. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So I said, I don't know. Somebody asked a question, I answered it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That was a dope line.
thank you.
Like, but you've talked about community organizing.
Mhm.
Community has been what seems like a huge part of your story. Do you think you could be the JB that you are today anywhere but Oklahoma City?
Nah, only in Oklahoma City.
Tell me why.
Um, because um, my story is built around living in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City, built and created me. You know what I'm saying? Um, and because Oklahoma City is the way it is, it makes it possible for a JP. Um, you know, I've been other places, and everything's so big, and there's so many JBs, and you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying,
Yeah.
and things like that. And so, um, I'm grateful that I'm here because it made me who I am, and it gave me a voice and a platform. And I don't think in any other city my platform would have been the way it is. And I like even when I go to different cities and places. I remember when I did Sway in the Morning. Um, you know, the homie who rapped next to me, I thought he smashed me. I thought he way better than me. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But whenever it was done, they was excited about me, and they was only excited because he was from New York, and he
Right.
he he. Of course, he from New York. Everybody in New York rap. Everybody in New York rap like him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I'm like, dude was nice. You know what I'm saying? But they're looking at me like we had no idea people in Oklahoma City was getting down like that. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And we had no idea Oklahoma City had all the things you were talking about. And so that just lets me know, like, being from Oklahoma City is the part of the story. You know what I'm saying? And um, I could be a rapper in New York City and just be just pull rappers from New York City.
Yeah.
So
It seems like, I mean, with the working with the Science Museum, I think they played your video with you in it, like before every Thunder game. Is that correct?
yeah.
I mean, that's a big community project there. It seems like Oklahoma City has, really embraced you as well. Do you feel that support like whenever you go out and do whatever
Oh
project?
yeah. Oh yeah. All the time. I think I think that's part of it too. And yeah, I can't explain it, man. It 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 just makes you. It humbles you. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Because I don't feel special. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm regular. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just doing me, and and doing what I'm supposed to do. But to have people support you and appreciate these things about you and give you opportunities. It's a blessing, and it's definitely humbling. And like I said, man, all this, none of that. If I was any other city that has an NBA team, they can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Name a city. They got 30 big rappers they could call. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so for the city here and the team here to give me opportunities like that, I just really appreciate it, and it means a lot.
So locally, I mean, to me, this you being here is a huge deal to me because I know locally you're a big deal. But to you, do you feel like you've reached the level of success that you want or that you aspire to? Like,
Nah, I don't, but I don't. I always try to decide if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because want to, I do want more. I want more success. I want more stability. I want to do a whole lot more. But I also try to be mindful because there are people who we see that have everything in the world. It's still not enough. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't want to ever, be at a place where like I have everything and it's still not enough.
I mean, I personally think that there's nothing wrong with you wanting more success because like I haven't listened to your music as much as I have. It's You're right up there with many people who don't deserve to be up there. It's good, like it's really good, and it says something, and it also is enjoyable to listen to.
I
Like
appreciate
that's,
that, man.
I mean, it really is. Like I mean, I was listening to it while I was working. I was writing stuff, and I was like, man, this is good. It wasn't just like, oh, this is good for an Oklahoma City rapper.
Yeah.
It was like it's good.
Yeah.
So I of course want all the success in the world for you, but it's difficult for me sitting here as a lover of rap and being able to access whatever rap I want to listen to. It's hard to even understand how to gauge the success level of a artist these days. Like,
yeah, I got homies who are big, who I look at as big. I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like you there. You know what I'm saying? Like I wish I had all the success and all the things that you got, and you know, those people, if I told you something, you'd be like, yeah, what the heck? They're huge. But even those people are like, you know what I'm saying? Man, nah, I'm trying to do this. Like I want more, and I'm trying to I hate to use this as an example because um but like for instance, Kanye West, right?
Mhm.
Um, like he's somebody who has everything at his fingertips. You know what I'm saying? Legit, anything. He has the resources, he has the success, he has the money, he has, you know what I mean? Like, um, and so, but he's still somebody who feels like, you know, there should be more for him. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And um, he still feels like there are people that try to keep him from doing other things. You know what I'm saying? But in my mind, I'm like you're that person. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, um,
An important thing to look at with all of that is he's got all that, but he doesn't have the mental health.
yeah,
Like Kanye West is my favorite rapper of all time, hands down, not even close. But he's not my favorite person because
yeah,
he can't be consistent in values, he does stuff that makes you question: is this person anywhere close to who I think he is? And that's scary whenever you're like, oh, that's my favorite rapper. It was like
Yeah,
his music is something that I take totally separately because it's just amazing.
yeah, no doubt. I agree.
And
He's a dope artist. But that's the point I'm trying to make. Is like, like I'm sure he would want to be, I'm saying, okay in his head, I'm saying, or want to be okay in his relationships, want to be okay, you know what I mean? So like, there's, you know, what do, like to for more success, what do I have to sacrifice? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, am I sacrificing time with my kids? Am I sacrificing my mental health? Am I sacrificing being able to walk into a Walmart and buy, you know,
Mhm.
a carton of milk? Am I, you know what I'm saying? What am I like? What am I really sacrificing? Um, so how much more do I really want?
Right.
But I think for me, you know, I just want to be at a place where I can comfortably, take care of my family, um, have stability and peace. You know what I'm saying? And be able to create when I want to create, and be able to build things when I want to build them, and be able to take care of people when I need to. You know.
Well, I mean, as far as building things whenever you want, you've in the last 5 years, you started 2 new restaurants and 2 new like other ventures on the east side.
Yeah.
That sounds like you're creating at
Yeah.
a.
I'm
I mean,
trying, man. Yeah, I'm trying. Um, yeah, you're right. I'm trying.
I mean, it's like we hadn't talked about the business aspect, the entrepreneurial aspect yet. But like, let's get into that. Like, Eastside Pizza it's the jam. Like, it's delicious. It's a hit every time I go over there. It's popping. Like, it seems like that one has done it. Scrambled seems like it's doing well. Like, what are your goals business wise?
um, you know, it's hard because if like 5 years ago I wouldn't have known I'd be doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So but now that I have done them, I definitely want to do more. We want to put a scramble like in Lawton or Tulsa or something like that. I I want to expand my Live Free organization. I want to expand, with love. I want to, do a burger spot. You know what I mean? I still want to do a sushi spot. But we're working on a hotel right now. So just really, I think the process is doing one thing to help to get the other thing going.
Mhm.
Um, and then just have cool things and have dope stuff that you know put the community in mind. You know what I'm saying, and do it like that, and that they can take ownership of and feel like it's theirs,
Mhm.
and put people on. You know what I'm saying? We did
Yeah.
it when I started Live Free or OKC. Everybody that we hired are people I grew up with. You know what I'm saying? And that are homies of mine. You know what I'm saying? So um, be able to do things like that.
Yeah. So, with Live Free, like that one is a little less clear to me because you've got this 501(c)(3) that like I've been in charge of a 501(c)(3) with the fire department. Like I've had some experience with it, but you've got a brick and mortar building that's you've got overhead costs that are continuous. What is your responsibility day to day in keeping all that running? Do you have a 501(c)(3) manager? Like,
So I have a my friend Jess Eddie. He does our operations and finance stuff.
mm,
But the way to keep all of it going is to be successful in reducing gun violence. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? We want to see a 20% reduction in this year in War 7, and that's the way that's one way we can be successful as we do the work.
20%, that's a big
Yeah,
ask because gun violence has stayed pretty consistent for
yeah,
like 20 years.
yeah.
So I mean, that I appreciate you having big goals, but is it a failure if you don't reach that?
No, it's not a failure if we don't reach that. It's a failure if we don't see a reduction. Period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a failure if we aren't able to show the lives we've impacted, if we aren't able to show the conflict that we've resolved, if we can't show true data of people who were at risk of being involved in gun violence who aren't anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's a failure if we got kids getting locked up with guns or getting you know what I'm saying. But we're already doing that. You know what I'm saying? And we got like I could tell you some of the plans we got when we got off, but you know what I'm saying. Like we in the mix. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And everybody that we have on our staff are what we call credible messengers, and they are people um, who have the credibility, you know, um, in the community to speak in the situations that the normal person can't speak into.
Right.
And and so we're doing that, and it's 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 probably the most important work I've been able to do in a long time. So
How do you find time? Like, I mean, because I see, I follow you on social, and I see that you're at. Luckily, you put them all close, which was smart. But you're at Eastside Pizza, then you're at Scrambled, and like, are do you actually take part in the day to day operations of all those things, or do you just check in every now and then?
so I don't I have um, a GM and operator at Eastside Pizza, and I'm involved in like the more of like the look, the ideas, what we do, any events, planning, things like that. But I let they run the restaurant.
So you're just marketing and branding and
Yeah, I don't.
like community outreach, basically.
Yeah, I don't try to not to get involved with the firing and hiring, um, you know, any of that stuff. Let them do it, and then give them the freedom to run the restaurant, because I can't, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then the same with Scramble. I have a partner who's a co-owner. His name's Cordell. We grew up together, and he's in there every day, and he operates and he manages and he does everything. You know what I'm saying? And did the look, everything he did. Excuse me.
Bless you.
And so luckily I have, you know, um, great people who, excuse me, great people who are involved and can do a lot of the heavy lifting that I can't do. But but I'm inside. I'm in and out both. When I need to be, and right now I've been spending most of my time working on Live Free OKC.
So when like you got this whole JB brand, which is developing under you, and you are having to trust people to be consistent with that brand as they as they run these different projects or as they create for these different projects. Is that a difficult thing to release control of?
Um, nah, it's not. Um, because I trust people we have. I trust my GM at Eastside. I've known her since she was 11, 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? And I know she knows what she's doing. I grew up with Cordell, and when we first sat down and started talking about Scramble, like I was already doing a lot, and he was down to do take up all the slack that I couldn't do. You know what I'm saying? And um, so yeah, you just give people that you trust and that you know. Now when it comes to JB, like my music and that part, I usually do all that on my own.
Whenever it comes to like the graphic design of your music stuff, is that you, or do you work with a
Yeah,
graphic designer?
yeah. Depending on what I want, I'll work with a certain designer,
Mhm.
and we'll go back and forth on what that look needs to be and what based on what it is. If it's an album, if it's a single, if it's a T-shirt, if it's a poster for a show. I usually have the idea of what I want, or I might sketch something out and then I'll send it to somebody who can make it fresh.
So congratulations on the release of your record, by the
Thank
way.
you.
Like I know that that album's been out for like 4 months already, but
Yeah.
Like, I think it's really cool that you did a record drop for like an actual physical record drop.
Yeah, I should have brought you one, man. My bad. I didn't think.
Oh man, that would I would appreciate it, but like I didn't, I'm not here expecting.
I got
anything,
one for you though. I'll leave if you want. I'll leave it at Eastside Pizza House for you.
Okay,
You
yeah, yeah, I'd love to come by there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I just think it's such a cool idea, such a cool project in itself. But then to actually have the 4 separate albums released together, I thought was really like a really cool idea. So
thank you.
How did the event go last night?
It was dope. It was fun, man. And yeah, I was happy to finally get it done. And we sold a lot of the vinyls, and yeah, man, it was dope. We had fun.
That's really cool.
Good turnout.
What was I going to ask you? Oh, so like I'm starting to wrap up here. Ask a few more questions just to kind of land the plane. But to quote a verse from Penniless off of the Black Future album. You telling me I try to act broke. Jealousy, the number one killer among Black folk. Do you think the intrinsic nature of flexing or stunting in Black culture affects the cultural relevance of authenticity?
Yeah, I think it's deceiving. And I say that because I've had the opportunity to see behind the scenes of some things, and a lot of people ain't got it how you think they got it, and so you know it's just like for instance like gang banging, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I grew up around gang members and gang bang. I got family members who gang bang. Um, I've been around it my whole life, but I'm not a gang banger. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't. So, but if I flex like that on my music, and I'm uh, claiming a set in my music, and I'm talking like a gang member in my music, then whenever somebody who gang bang sees me, that's how they gonna treat me. You know what I'm saying? So I need to be prepared for that if I'm a gang member, right? So the same is true with flexing with money and all that stuff. Like, I'm gonna expect that when I see you. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is like, it creates um, this image, that we've seen time and time again, you know, destroy people. You know what I mean? And so yeah, um, but I mean, especially with rap, it's hard to get away from that. You know what I mean?
You seem to have done a pretty good job of it. So I mean, congratulations on that, and still being good at rap. Yeah. Like some people just aren't good at the conscious thing. They're not good at the, they're not good back rappers. They need to, have that persona to rap to, or else they don't have anything.
No doubt.
You're definitely not one of those. So I'm glad for that. Is there anything that we didn't talk about today that you'd like to mention? Any products you want to talk about? We kind of talked about your restaurants and.
No, it's good. I thought it was. I love the questions. It was good. It was good.
Once again, I appreciate you coming on. Like it is a big deal to me, and I'm glad we were able to make it happen. So, in order to respect your busy time and your time and your busy schedule, bringing the interview to a close, but I want to thank you again for coming on the show. If people want to find out more about Jabee, where should they go to find you?
Of course, social media at my name is Jabee or my name is Jabee.com. But yeah, I'm all those places.
Also find you randomly at Eastside Pizza, Scrambled, Live Free, and what's the other one?
With Love OKC.
Does that have a physical location?
No, we don't have a location. Okay. But we usually office out of Live Free now, though.
Okay. So. All right. Well, if you enjoyed today's episode, please give it a like, follow, share it with someone you think might enjoy it too, and also check out earlier episodes to support the future creation of great content. Don't forget to like @Authentic Identity Management on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and LinkedIn. And also head over to the Authentic Bruce YouTube channel for podcast video, bonus content, and impactful clips from my conversations with these great guests. Finally, if you are struggling to show up as yourself in your content, your work, your family, or your life, I would love to help you. Authentic Identity Management does identity coaching to help you align yourself with the identity you share with the world. It's exhausting to live someone else's life. Live authentically and access the potential that belongs only to you. You can contact me on social or email at bruce@authenticidentitymanagement.com, and we can set up a free 30-minute consultation. That's it for today's amazing episode. So until next time, Be yourself and love yourself. Bye, everybody.